Disclaimer. This content may dramatize real events and include speculation. Viewer discretion is advised as details may not be fully verified. This clearly isn't J-Lo's year. She got caught up in a divorce right when everyone thought she had the perfect love story. And her This Is Me Now documentary flopped. What's wild is, some say her past with Diddy might be connected to all of this. Stick around, because at the end, we'll reveal some shocking theories that say Ben left J-Lo because of Diddy. Let's dive in. Others say she was too much, too loud, too flashy, too controlling. But Diddy thought she was flawless. Maybe she was meant to be someone's fantasy. But what if you're only perfect for the devil? Let's talk about J-Lo and Diddy before Ben ever came into the picture. From 1999 to 2001, they were everywhere, on every tabloid, ruling red carpets in designer clothes and owning New York's spotlight. But everything changed after a shooting at a nightclub in 1999. Diddy allegedly caused trouble at a New York club by smacking a drink out of someone's hand. Things quickly got out of control. 3 people were injured, including Natania Reuben, who said Diddy's bullet hit her in the face. Diddy and J-Lo tried to flee, but they were caught not long after. J-Lo was released just hours after her arrest, but Diddy was held for a while. Even though he faced serious charges, Diddy and his bodyguard were let go because J-Lo, who was a witness, said they were innocent. A witness saw someone throw a gun out of the car, said it was a female hand. Sounds crazy, right? There was only one woman in that car, and she didn't want to speak up. Do you believe Puffy will be found not guilty in court? Yes, I do. Will you testify in court? Now that more facts have come out, people are starting to wonder, did she lie to protect Diddy? If she did, that might have been her biggest mistake. Do you know who they pinned the blame on? A rapper named Shine, real name Moses Michael Barrow, who was Diddy's young protege. He was at the club that night and ended up serving 9 years in prison. Even after all that, J-Lo and Diddy dated for 2 years before splitting up in 2001. In later interviews, they spoke kindly about each other and didn't seem bitter. Maybe because they went through a crime together. That's making people wonder how deep their bond really was. Nothing has been confirmed. But now that Diddy is facing several lawsuits, people are speaking up. In a recent interview, Shine said Diddy ruined his life at 18. He claimed Diddy convinced witnesses to lie and make Shine take the fall. He said he was trying to protect Diddy, but Diddy betrayed him. He basically sent me to prison. And it's strange. The woman who got shot, Nata, has never changed her story. She still says Diddy fired the gun. I said Puffy shot me in my face, she repeated. She and another man both testified at the criminal trial. People ask, why didn't she speak back then? Why now? Is she chasing clout? But some say J-Lo could also be in serious trouble if these claims are true. She told everyone Diddy didn't have a gun and said he was innocent. Now, people are questioning why she's still so close to him. Nothing adds up. Maybe he has something on her. That's the real reason. Even Suge Knight said similar things from behind bars. Let's now talk about one wild theory about why Ben left J-Lo. On his prison podcast, Suge, who's a major name in rap, claimed that the FBI seized tapes from Diddy's house. And those tapes caused tension between J-Lo and Ben Affleck. Suge says these weren't normal home videos. He claims the footage shows that J-Lo lied in the 1999 case. He says the tapes prove that Shine didn't own the gun, Diddy did, and J-Lo helped cover for him. She supposedly pretended the weapon was Shine's to protect Diddy. Suge believes the FBI handed these tapes over to Ben, which created a rift between the couple. Do you think Ben walked away to avoid getting dragged into the mess too, and that the feds are closing in on J-Lo? It's an interesting theory. We don't know if it's real proof or just another crazy claim, but it's got people rethinking J-Lo and Ben's split. Maybe Ben just couldn't handle J-Lo's past with Diddy, even if it was just PR work or old drama. That, mixed with J-Lo's diva image and love for the spotlight, was a disaster waiting to happen. Let's quickly look at why Ben and J-Lo were so different. As fate would have it, 20 years later, they got back together. And J-Lo said she felt inspired, like when she made her first album. She decided to create This Is Me Now. It's pretty clear that Ben was the one who ended things. J-Lo was still in love. With so many celebs cutting ties with Diddy, Ben might have taken a harder stance. Ben's been through a lot with the media, and he's never liked the attention. He only shows up for press tours and usually stays out of the spotlight. That's why fans were shocked he got back with J-Lo. She's the opposite. Here's a quick summary of Ben and J-Lo's relationship. They met filming Giggly in 2002 and started dating. They called off their wedding in 2003 and broke up in 2004. Years later, they reunited, married in 2022 after both had kids and other marriages. But they split again just 2 years later, making some people think it was a mistake. Ben doesn't like fame, but J-Lo lives for it and knows how to stay in the spotlight. Even though they loved each other, it might have been too much for Ben. He was shocked when he found out J-Lo was sharing love letters he wrote her 20 years ago. Ben saw those letters as private, and he didn't want them made public. "How do you accept an award for being someone you're not?" he once asked. Beyond the personal drama, those tapes from Diddy may have been the final straw. The timing matches up. Ben bought a new $20 million house in LA at the end of July. Then, on August 20th, they officially separated, months after the FBI raided Diddy's house in March. TMZ said Ben moved out in late June. He told J-Lo before she returned from Europe and started renting a place in Brentwood. Something big clearly happened between the raid and the breakup. Other major voices in the industry, like Jaguar Wright, have said J-Lo should be charged because she's more involved with Diddy than she lets on. Jaguar said, "Jennifer Lopez should definitely be charged." Should I go on? You already hit the nail on the head. What do you think? Did Jennifer lie in 1999? And even though it's been over 20 years, should she still be held responsible if she did? Honestly, I don't think orange would suit J-Lo. She'd probably start cutting ties with Diddy to save herself. Diddy is getting tired of jail life too. He's now trying for bail for the third time. After 2 judges denied his requests, he's appealing to a higher court. Sean Combs is now begging the court to let him out on bail. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, is arguing that the previous judges made the wrong call. But that's a big ask. Instead of his usual VIP lifestyle, Diddy's stuck in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, and he's desperate to get out. And honestly, it doesn't look like they'll approve it. The judges are going off their evidence, and it's serious. The same judges, Andrew Carter Jr. and Robin Tarnowski, already rejected his earlier bail requests. Diddy's been locked up for about a month because both judges agreed with the prosecutors that he should stay until trial. Remember, Diddy pleaded not guilty to multiple serious charges last month. These include sex trafficking, coercion, assaulting women since 2008, and even a conspiracy linked to organized crime. Prosecutors say he ran a criminal network of employees who helped him silence victims through threats, blackmail, and sometimes violence. Judges didn't budge on bail, even when he offered a $50 million bond, limited travel, drug tests, GPS tracking, and even handing over passports, including one for his 1-year-old child. So now, Diddy is changing his strategy. He's built a powerhouse legal team to help get him out. He's got 2 big-name lawyers, Anthony Ricco and Alexandra Shapiro. But recently, they filed a motion to step away from his case. Alexandra, a top appellate lawyer, filed Diddy's appeal for bail. Anthony, known for defending dozens of death penalty cases, was there to fight for lighter sentencing if Diddy gets convicted. These 2 aren't cheap, but they're serious players. They recently filed documents accusing the Department of Homeland Security of leaking a video to the media. It's the footage from 2016 that shows Diddy assaulting his ex-girlfriend Cassie in. They say the leak, and others like it, are poisoning the jury pool and hurting Diddy's chances at a fair trial. Everyone saw that footage and formed opinions, so who can blame the public? Still, the judges ruled that the trial will start on May 5th, 2025. Diddy's lawyers pushed for April or May, but May it is. We still don't know if he'll stay in jail until then. No news yet on his latest bail request, but it looks like his chances are slim. Prosecutors are serious about putting Diddy behind bars. They've already started giving his lawyers access to tons of evidence against him, and it's a lot. Now let's hear from Natania, one of the victims. She's here to tell her story. Natania, thank you for joining us. I can't imagine what you've been through since 1999, or what you're feeling now with all this news. Right when she started speaking, you could tell Diddy was listening carefully. Everyone, even the jurors, were paying close attention. After J-Lo's name came up in the Diddy case, accused of being the one who hid the gun during that 1999 shooting, people started digging into her past. It's raising big questions. Some say, I don't know if he was there, but I saw him hanging with Diddy in London, Paris, all over. Now, law enforcement is expecting the FBI to reopen past investigations tied to Diddy. We already knew about the 1999 shooting case, but not how deep J-Lo was involved. Things got too hot for Jenny from the block. Because according to Cassie Ventura, J-Lo might not have just been Diddy's ex. She could have been his accomplice. We're talking lies, cover-ups, and smuggling. And now, she's nowhere to be seen. J-Lo has mostly stayed hidden since Diddy's legal troubles started, and now we may understand why. Cassie testified through tears that Diddy once made her carry a loaded gun in public. He used her like a pawn in his mess. But this isn't a joke. J-Lo might have done the same thing years ago, helping Diddy cover up a crime that sent an innocent man to prison. If Diddy goes down, guess who could go with him? J-Lo. Buckle up! This story is wild! Everyone knows Cassie Ventura and Diddy had a long and very toxic past. She recently told the court that Diddy gave her a loaded gun before they went into a club in Los Angeles. She was crying while telling the story. The trauma was clear. During her testimony, she often broke down in tears as she described what happened. But here's where it gets even darker. Rodney Lil Rod Jones filed a lawsuit claiming that in 1999, Jennifer Lopez smuggled a gun into a New York club for Diddy. That same night, 3 people were shot, including Natania Reuben, who got hit in the face. It's giving ride or die vibes, but the illegal kind. It looks really bad that Diddy keeps using women as his gun carriers. Let's be honest, J-Lo's not innocent in this. This isn't just about being in the wrong place at the wrong time. This looks like she was fully involved. As we said earlier, there's a lot of confusion and false info about what really happened during that trial. Who got blamed and what was said. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think people still misunderstand about that trial? Even from day one, things looked off. If you look at the mugshots from that night, only Shine has a real one. Diddy's photo shows him in front of a concrete wall, while J-Lo is in front of a bulletin board wearing a ragged t-shirt. Ask yourself, do you think J-Lo and Diddy went out in ragged clothes on Christmas night? Of course not. There was already a plan to hide what they wore that night to confuse people. They wanted to mess with your memory, but they couldn't mess with mine. And let's not forget, J-Lo named Shine Barrow as the shooter, according to Diddy's own driver. So if that's true, J-Lo didn't just carry the gun. She helped Diddy frame Shine. He ended up doing a long prison sentence for something he might not have done. If you didn't know, Shine has been calling out Diddy for years, saying Diddy betrayed him. And guess what? Gene Deal, Diddy's former security chief, claimed Diddy once told her, "I hate Shine." So it's not hard to believe Diddy helped set him up. This isn't just gossip, it's real talk. So let me ask you, have you seen the trailer for the documentary about Shine? How did you end up being part of that? Well, I was there during the trial with Sean and Puff, someone explained. Puff said, "I hate that dude." That's what he told me. while they were still on trial together. We already know Shine was sacrificed, but it gets even worse. Diddy reportedly handpicked the witnesses in the 1999 trial. He supposedly rigged everything. Insiders say J-Lo was involved too. They worked behind the scenes, coaching witnesses to say exactly what they needed. And get this, they even allegedly paid off some jurors. One person said, "I heard a woman say Puff did the shooting." Another source, Wolf, said very little about it, but made it clear he had a lot of love for Shine. Diddy and J-Lo walked away like nothing happened. Soon after, Diddy dropped J-Lo like she was nothing, just a piece in his game. But let's be real, they both got what they wanted, freedom. People say, "I don't know, she was there," but then admit they saw J-Lo with Diddy in London, Paris, and other cities. And here's something really suspicious. Why didn't J-Lo testify during all this chaos? She was there the night of the shooting, wasn't she? Now here's something wild. Around the time of the shooting in 1999, Diddy and J-Lo secretly got married. Jaguar Wright said this, not out of love, but as a legal strategy. Because if J-Lo was Diddy's legal wife, she couldn't be forced to testify against him in court. Hollywood uses tricks like this all the time. It's a legal loophole. And it worked. J-Lo didn't have to testify, and her hands stayed clean. Sean caused a lot of this mess himself. And again, Puff told me straight up, "I hate that dude." But wait, you never told me that before. You saw how Funkmaster Flex called out Shine. Flex has every right. He knows more than most people. Even if the marriage can't be officially confirmed, Jaguar says the ceremony happened. She also said J-Lo went to some of Diddy's infamous freak-off parties. One lawsuit even says a well-known female celeb witnessed one of those parties, where a 13-year-old was forced to be there. Now, we're not saying J-Lo was that celeb, but her name is starting to pop up everywhere. Court cases, witness statements, lawsuits, and it doesn't stop there. That 13-year-old girl wasn't the only victim. A woman named Misha also came forward with a disturbing story. She said J-Lo was there, right in the middle of it, at one of those freak-off parties. And when Misha looked J-Lo in the eye, asking silently for help, guess what she got? Nothing. No help. Just a blank stare. Misha said he did what he did to me, and Jennifer Lopez just sat there with a man who looked disgusted. But no one saved me. She described being attacked with glass and her eyes wide with fear the whole time. If that's true, if J-Lo actually witnessed all that and did nothing, she's got a lot to answer for. And if you think this story can't get any messier, think again. This isn't the first time J-Lo's name has been tied to these disturbing parties. Years ago, her ex-husband Ojani Noah shared some shocking claims of his own. Ojani said J-Lo was deeply involved in those activities. Not just a guest, but a regular participant. He even said she should be questioned about the rumored sex tapes connected to Diddy and his inner circle. Yes, those same tapes that people keep talking about. Hidden cameras and baby oil kind of tapes. Ojani didn't hold back. He said J-Lo wasn't who she pretended to be in public. According to him, behind the scenes, she knew exactly what was happening at those events and didn't care. Now look, we know exes can sometimes speak out of anger. Let's be honest, sometimes it's just bitterness. But this doesn't feel like a jealous ex trash-talking over a breakup. When you add Ojani's claims to Misha's story, Cassie's emotional testimony, and all these lawsuits stacking up, it starts to form a disturbing picture. J-Lo no longer seems like an innocent bystander. And now, here's the cherry on top of this messy situation. In 2024, 2 law enforcement sources told the New York Post that the feds are reopening the 1999 nightclub shooting investigation as part of the larger case against D. And if J-Lo's name comes up in that case, she could end up in court too. Social media wasn't shocked. One user summed it up best. "We knew J-Lo was holding the gun for him." She may be a good singer, but she's never been known as a mega talent. Let's be real. Her fame has always seemed bigger than her actual skill. Now the truth behind her rise might finally be coming out. But it's about to get even messier. In an interview, Sui claimed that J-Lo and Ben Affleck's marriage didn't fall apart just because of distance or disagreements. Nope. He said that during one of those infamous parties, the FBI allegedly showed Ben a tape of J-Lo and Diddy. Now imagine this. Ben thinks he's watching evidence for a case, but instead sees his wife, the woman he just reunited with, in Diddy's dark world. After that, he supposedly couldn't look at her the same way. And honestly, can you blame him? Let's be real. We're a news team. Did you all hear about what Suge Knight said? He claimed that J-Lo and Ben Affleck broke up because the FBI sent Ben some of those tapes from Diddy's mansion. He said the tapes showed J-Lo in compromising situations. And Ben? He's a respected man in America. They say he's a darling, meaning the public loves him. And this isn't some old tabloid rumor from a decade ago. Check the timeline. Right after the federal raids on Diddy's properties. Things between J-Lo and Ben started going downhill, fast. They stopped showing up in public together. J-Lo started walking red carpets alone. Their body language got weird. And now, they're not even married anymore. J-Lo's always kept a clean and graceful image for the media. But these court documents show a completely different side of her. This isn't a rom-com, if even part of these claims are true. This is criminal. And with everything Cassie has revealed about Diddy, it's no surprise that J-Lo is staying out of sight. Where's she hiding? Maybe she's running from Cassie's testimony. Things keep getting darker every day. Cassie said that Diddy basically owned her life. He paid for everything. The phone, her house, her car, and he'd take it all back as punishment. He wanted total control. Cassie told the court he controlled everything, from her work to her appearance. But that control turned violent. We're talking about real violence. In court, Cassie cried as she described how Diddy kicked her, dragged her, and slammed her down. She said she had black eyes, busted lips, and bumps on her forehead. It went from bad to terrifying, especially when prosecutors started digging into those freak-off parties. Cassie testified that Diddy introduced her to those parties during the first year they dated. He would bring in strippers and male escorts to sleep with her while he watched. And it wasn't just once or twice. Some of those sessions lasted up to 4 days. They were so draining. She needed time to recover, physically and emotionally. She said she started doing it to make Diddy happy, but it made her feel ashamed. While sobbing in court, she said, "I felt horrible about myself. I felt worthless." Cassie said she used ketamine, ecstasy, marijuana, and other drugs just to cope. She used them to disconnect from what was really happening. She wasn't even interested in the sex. It was forced. Diddy planned everything. He gave her orders to find men, strippers, escorts, dancers. And depending on how they performed, he'd pay them between $1,500 and $6,000. They found some through Craigslist and some through stripper agencies. One of the men, Daniel Phillip, even showed up in court and was identified through photos given to the jury. Cassie said Diddy controlled everything, from her outfit to the lighting in the room, even how she was supposed to act during sex. And just to be clear, what is a freak-off? Cassie said she learned about it from Diddy about a year into their relationship. He described it as voyeurism. He liked watching her have sex with other people. She admitted she agreed to it because she was only 21 or 22, didn't know any better, and wanted to please Diddy. At some point, she even said she looked forward to the freak-offs. When the prosecution asked, "Did you ever enjoy them?" Cassie got choked up and said, "I did, but only because it meant I got to spend one-on-one time with Diddy." Now, here's where J-Lo comes back into the picture. You can't say she didn't know what Diddy was into. She dated him before all of this. She saw his dark side up close. And that's why, according to rumors, J-Lo is terrified of being called to the witness stand. They say she's been dodging that subpoena like her life depends on it. Some even believe she fled to a country without an extradition treaty. just in case things get worse and she's dragged into it. Because let's be honest, with all the growing evidence against Diddy, it's looking like he's going down. And if the feds dig into who else was involved, J-Lo might be next. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think J-Lo will be the next celebrity caught in Diddy's legal storm? Was she really helping him behind the scenes this whole time? Or is she just another person caught in the crossfire? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This story is wild. Don't hold back. Make sure to hit the bell, subscribe, and like the video so you don't miss what happens next. Because honestly, we have no idea who will be the next person to fall in the Diddy trial.